What if the most cherished symbol of your love became the ultimate weapon in a plan for revenge? This isn't just a story about a lost wedding ring. It's about a woman pushed to her absolute limit, meticulously crafting a multi-layered scheme that will leave you speechless. Prepare to discover how she turned betrayal into her masterpiece. It started like any other frantic morning. Keys were missing, the dog needed walking, and Mark was turning the house upside down. "Have you seen my wedding ring?" he yelled, his voice echoing with rising panic. He'd taken it off to do some yard work the night before, and now it was gone. Sarah, his wife, sipped her coffee, an island of calm in his storm. "It'll turn up," she said, her voice steady, maybe a little too steady. Anyone watching would have thought her composure strange, a quiet note in a loud, chaotic symphony. But this quiet was the first red flag, the first hint that this was no ordinary case of a misplaced ring. To understand her calm, we have to go back a few months. Their marriage hadn't been a fairy tale for a long time. It was a slow decay, a series of small disappointments that had grown into a chasm of silence and resentment. There were the late nights at the office, the hushed phone calls he'd quickly end when she walked into the room, the scent of a perfume that wasn't hers clinging to his clothes. Sarah had ignored the signs, wanting to believe in the man she had married, the life they had built. She chose to trust, even when her intuition was screaming at her. The tension in their home was thick enough to cut with a knife, a silent war waged over dinner tables and in the space between them in bed. Then came the night, it all shattered. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation. It was a quiet click of a laptop screen not closed fast enough, an email left open. The words on the screen confirmed every fear she had suppressed for months. A full-blown affair, complete with plans for a future that didn't include her. In that moment, something inside Sarah broke. But it didn't shatter into a million pieces of heartbreak. Instead, it hardened, forging something new from the wreckage of her trust. A cold, steely resolve took root. The tears she expected to cry never came. Instead, a plan began to form, a flicker of an idea that grew into a roaring fire, and at the center of that fire was her own wedding ring, a symbol of broken promises. The next morning, she took it off, placed it in a small velvet box, and hid it away. The ring wasn't lost. It was waiting. It was the catalyst. The first phase of her plan was subtle, almost unnoticeable. She helped Mark search for his lost ring, retracing his steps, her suggestions leading him on a wild goose chase through the yard, the garage, the car. He grew more agitated with each passing day. Then, small things started to happen. A joint credit card was mysteriously maxed out on a series of online gift purchases, all untraceable. Mark was furious, but Sarah just shrugged. "Maybe it's fraud," she suggested innocently. "We should report it." A few days later, a booking confirmation for a romantic getaway for Tuat, the very hotel mentioned in the incriminating email, arrived in their mailbox, addressed to Mark. He paled, stammering that it must be a mistake, a prank. Sarah just looked at him, her eyes filled with a manufactured confusion, planting the first tiny seeds of doubt and paranoia in his mind. The unraveling began to accelerate. Each strange event was a thread, and Sarah was slowly pulling them all together, weaving an intricate web around Mark. One afternoon, he came home to find a package on the doorstep. Inside was an expensive men's watch, with an engraving on the back, "To my one and only, forever yours." See? The initial from his mistress's name. Mark frantically tried to explain it away, but the evidence was undeniable. Sarah played the part of the confused, increasingly suspicious wife perfectly. She would then find his lost wedding ring in the most damning places. Once, it turned up in the pocket of a coat he swore he had unworn in months, the same coat he'd worn the night she first smelled the strange perfume. Another time, it appeared on the nightstand, on the other side of their bed, a place he never slept. His paranoia grew into a full-blown panic. He started accusing Sarah of planting it, of playing mind games. To the outside world, to their friends and family whom Sarah had been confiding in, Mark looked like a man losing his grip, a guilty husband projecting his own deceit. His world was shrinking, and he was the one pulling the strings tighter. The grand finale was a masterpiece of calculated chaos. Sarah had planned a small anniversary dinner with their closest friends, the ones who had witnessed Mark's increasingly erratic behavior. The atmosphere was tense. Mark was on edge, desperate to appear normal. Midway through dinner, Sarah stood up, a small, beautifully wrapped box in her hand. "I have an anniversary surprise for you, Mark," she said, her voice clear and strong. All eyes were on them. She handed him the box. Confused, he opened it. Inside, nestled on a bed of silk, was a brand new wedding ring, identical to the one he had lost. But as he picked it up, a small memory card fell out from underneath it. A projector screen, which Sarah had set up earlier under the pretense of showing old family photos, flickered to life. On the screen, a file opened, the email, the one that started it all, followed by screenshots of text messages, hotel receipts, and photos, a complete, undeniable timeline of his betrayal. The room fell into a stunned silence. Mark's face was a mask of horror as he realized the depth of the trap. Every accident, every coincidence, every moment of his paranoia was a deliberate, calculated move in her game. The ring wasn't the weapon. It was the distraction, the central piece of misdirection in a symphony of revenge. He had been so focused on the missing symbol of their marriage that he never saw his entire life being dismantled around him. In the immediate aftermath, Mark's world imploded. His affair was exposed, his reputation shattered among their friends and colleagues. The mistress, C, cut ties immediately, unwilling to be part of the spectacular fallout. He was left with nothing but the consequences of his own actions, amplified and orchestrated by the woman he had betrayed. For Sarah, it was a hollow victory. She had reclaimed her power. Yes, she had served a cold, meticulous dish of vengeance that left an undeniable mark. But what was the true cost? She had dedicated months of her life to a plan fueled by anger and pain. She had become someone she didn't recognize, a master manipulator playing a game where the only prize was the satisfaction of seeing her husband's downfall. Was it justified? That's a question without an easy answer. When you're pushed to the edge, when the foundation of your life is ripped out from under you, the lines between justice and revenge become blurred. Sarah's story is a powerful, unsettling look at what happens when love turns to betrayal and a good woman is pushed too far. It forces us to ask ourselves, what is the true price of vengeance? And when the dust settles, what are you left with? It's a chilling reminder that sometimes, the most profound acts of rebellion are born from the deepest wounds, and individuals will go to extraordinary lengths to reclaim their own narrative and find their own form of justice. Thanks for watching. If this story captivated you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales of intricate human drama. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.